Osmond backed away from the railing, scratching his chin. Speaking of, you'd best get some sleep if you can. What about you?
One of the things that's like a little bit hard for me to understand here too is like, have you noticed that whenever Dave, like whenever Oswin, or whenever a conversation with Dave is done, a character will just be like, "You should go to bed, Dave." Yeah. Have you noticed that? It's very weird.
Yeah. Go to bed, would you kindly? It's just deactive. It's the opposite of a sleeper agent phrase. It's a it's a sleeping phrase. I'll be fine. I've had some coffee, and trust that if you hear some gunshots, I'll have noticed our unwelcomed guest on the property. I've given them a proper greeting. It's weird to be like, if you hear gunshots, don't worry.
Yeah.
Well, now I'm worried. I'm going to sleep now. Isn't there anything else? Anything else I can do instead to prepare? Dave, you will literally never prepare in any timeline for anything.
For anything, yeah.
You refuse to, even when we do decide to prepare. You don't. Not really. Not until everyone's awake. Although, I don't know how you write a story where every 5 minutes people just repeat the refrain that there's nothing to do and nothing to prepare and we'll just wait. And you just keep saying that and you think that you're writing a story. He studied me over, deciding not to add anything more until I gestured for him to continue. The scavenger hunt, how's that faring? The question blindsided me and I did a double take, wondering if I'd heard him correctly. I think we've mostly forgotten about it with everything kind of happening. A shame. If you find any more of them, I would very much like you to continue searching. If you find any more of them, I would like you to continue searching. So if we don't find any more, we don't have to keep searching, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a very strange sentence. Really? With everything going on, you still want us to keep searching for those medals? I do. After all, how will I make you split up, gang, to get killed by a rabbit? It's literally incomprehensible. It's impossible to come up with any motivation you could give these people for why they'd want the medals, unless you just explain what the true ending is that it causes somehow. Like, you just have to, that's the only motivation you can give them. Otherwise, you're like, please keep risking your lives for no reason for funny medals. Would you like what's at the bottom of this cereal box? After all, they're very important. If anything, it'll give you something to focus on that isn't impending doom, should it make any difference. Yeah, but you don't want to be distracted of the impending doom, because that's how you die to the doom. The active threat that's in the woods. It's been like a day. I gave him a funny look, but found myself yawning. Tiredness was creeping in, and became more of a pressing need than arguing the point with him at this time in the morning. I just can't stress how lazy it is, because, like, in Zero Escape, there's a vital piece of information in like 5 different timelines, and you can only get the true ending once you happen to have found those pieces of information.
Yeah. And
then go into the right timeline where you can use it. And those pieces of information might be as arbitrary as door codes or something, but they are like pieces of information that are individually separate and let you
it's all very actionable data.
Yeah, they let you navigate the maze. They're pieces of information that you could have done something about at the time when you found them, except things had gone too far wrong, or you were literally dying while you were finding the information, or everyone was dead already, so you give up. And then in the real timeline where everyone's alive and things are going well, you're like, oh fuck, now I have all the information from the other timelines, the morphic resonance. But in this one, they're just like, I don't know, man, collect some tokens. And why? For
lack of a better word, like Zero Escape does a very good job of like justifying quote unquote like exploration, right? Like there's always a reason to do something, even if it gives you like an insane piece of information, because that information is always explicitly a key to a gate in the gameplay design.
Also characters who are desperately they're literally being forced through the rat maze at gunpoint in every single story, and just happening upon information that will then eventually be really important in the true ending. In this one, they're just like politely requested to go on a fun scavenger hunt adventure, and then death starts happening, so everyone drops that, obviously, and they're like, please go back to the scavenger hunt, pretty please. And the jangling keys in front of Dave's eyes. I'm like, why would he do that? Like, there's no reason he would do that. And it's like the people in Zero Escape don't know they're doing a scavenger hunt for the true ending. They literally are forced through every permutation of how that scenario can play out. That's how all the games work. That's the point of the thing they're in, is to force them in through every permutation of what could happen through every timeline. So like everything else I don't like about Zero Escape, which is getting harder to remember because I'm playing Password for so long, at least its premise makes sense. They set up a premise and they execute on that premise, and it does that. There's a billion details and retcons that I am so frustrated with, but what's the struggle here is that the premise on paper, before if you wrote down this premise before you even started the project, it already didn't work before you started writing it. It just doesn't make sense as a story. And then you tried to flesh that story out for years. And so it just continued to make even less sense because it was a bad premise. It does not, these ideas don't complement each other or mix. And there's no reason why Dave would look for scavenger hunt tokens. And it's also like, they're also organized in a semi-Zero Escape-ish way where he'll randomly find like fucking half of a token in the murder shack or something like that. And it's like, okay, so telling them to look for the tokens also doesn't make sense because they won't find them because they're not in scavenger hunt locations for the most part. They're in insane, like, bad end type locations. Like at this point, they're gonna. It's like, if you want to survive, you need to cut open your boyfriend and take out the key from behind his guts so that you can unlock this mechanism that breaks your head. Like the tokens are gonna be in saw traps. I gave him a funny look, but found myself yawning. Tiredness was creeping in, and became more of a pressing need than arguing the point with him at this time in the morning. Almost like the scavenger hunt doesn't matter to you. Sweet dreams, Dave. I shall see you in a few hours. It bothers me just because it's purely a fourth wall break telling the audience to care about the scavenger hunt moment. That doesn't make sense in universe, and they can't justify it, so they just move on. Making my way upstairs, I wandered to the bed I spent the night in. Everything was as if I had never left. I tried to make myself comfortable, and everything still running through my head. They say the bed I spent the night in because they don't want to say which route you're in, because then they can use this in every route. So they don't have to specify which boyfriend you're with. I wondered just how dangerous this thing was behind the vault door. It's a pill that kills you if you take it, so don't take it. What the fuck do you mean you're wondering how dangerous it is? It's a cure that won't work and will kill you, so it's just, it's an anti-cure.
It's literally lethal.
Like, I don't...
It's the one thing... That's how they're going to do it. I'm going to Chekhov's gun this. I don't know if this will be true.
They're going to feed it to Memphis?
Yeah, they're going to feed it to Memphis. That's how they kill Memphis, the unkillable dragon.
Yeah.
Except for all of the things that kill him.
The good ending, or the Route A ending, is that they just tell that Memphis... That's the time travel pill. He gets or it's a chair. It's probably a chair. It's probably like a mechanical device that treats your body like the fucking C-section pod from Prometheus. But we'll be like, oh yeah, that's the DeLorean. It'll time travel you like you want. You can be so powerful, and then it'll like fry his brain.
I think realistically, because this story has absolutely no creative elements in it, it will be like, Dave at the last minute will be like, we can't kill him. No, Memphis, don't do it. It will kill you. Just listen to me. And Memphis will be like, sure, that's what you would say. And then just kill him. Anyway, he'll just do it and die.
What's frustrating is that's potentially a setup that makes sense narratively as a resolution for Memphis. It's just very frustrating that, one, Memphis is so nonsensical that his motivations are just that dumb, but also like all the conversations about how this was introduced actively didn't make sense because they're just trying to set up what's behind the vault potentially, but they can't find a way to have a normal conversation about it while also still insisting on being so vague. And it's like, oh right, I remember how Zero Escape did this. Zero Escape would just have an escape room in the room with the weird murder chair. And you'd had to like solve the room, and also that would be there the whole time, because like one of the things that Zero Escape was doing is that each escape room was setting up a new location that might be used by the narrative going forward, because the room's open now. That's like, I see the game you're aping, but you didn't you didn't ape it. I just wondered how dangerous this thing was behind the vault door, or if it was just a tall tale to keep me distracted from the knife-toting rabbit somewhere in the woods. Sure enough, though, my eyelids were growing heavy and Cuddling down in the warm covers, I drifted off. Although it was not long after I found myself waking up, with the day properly starting. I just can answer that.
This is totally random and off topic, but it's a fun fact. I just learned the Japanese word for red panda is lesser panda.
Lesser panda.
It's like a D&D enemy. Lesser panda. You beat the lesser panda mook, and then the greater panda appears. The greater panda boss.
Fucking insane. The lesser panda. I can answer that. Our eyes all went to the door, seeing Oswin standing there with his arms folded. The Ransona fold. Thank you for describing him with his arms folded and then not then cutting to him with his arms not folded. We couldn't have an arm folding pose, the default Ransona pose. We stepped closer to the table. He stepped closer to the table, adjusting his glasses, and continued. The landline idea failed because there isn't one. How do you not have a landline? Who am I going to contact? I have a cell phone, as does Benson. I can assure you that there are very few people I'd contact with it, and I'd much rather do my correspondence in person anyway. No, you have a cell phone. Landlines can call cell phones, so anyone with a phone is a person you can contact with a landline. They're saying it strangely. All they have to say is like, we didn't get a landline wired because we have cell phones. But then they just say it the weirdest possible way. Speaking of, how is he?
Having been up all night, I imagine he's resting, right?
Yeah, they tagged out however long ago it was. That's right. Although in the time I've been keeping watch, I have not had to worry about firing off my gun. Thanks for specifying. Nothing has appeared as far as I could tell.
And we're sure you just didn't miss anything?
Well, is anyone fucking dead? Thanks for your input, Roswell. Oswin grunted, shooting Roswell a dirty look. Yes, I'm positive. So, for the time being, things should be alright. They're not going to make a move now that we're all awake, are they? Even though they easily could. We're so easy to kill. It's hard to say. Truth be told, it would make sense for any movement to be made during daylight or general navigation. Even a rabbit would know better than to make a move in the dark. Even a rabbit would know that it's better than to make a move in the dark?
What?
Oswin's so stupid, and I can't tell. I don't think it's the character.
Yeah.
It's just that the writing has bad ideas, so he can't ever be smart. Even a rabbit would know better than make a move in the dark. The rabbit is in the dark woods. The house is a glowing thing in the middle of a plain. It's not like you're gonna get lost. The darkness shields your approach. This is like an ages-old fucking strategy for approaching a settlement of any kind.
Is he saying that a rabbit would know that we wouldn't move in the dark? Is that what it's trying to say? I can't tell.
Because they're specifying like they're not going to go after us now that we're awake, right? And they're like, well, actually, it makes sense to do your navigation during the day. And it's like, what? They're safe in the woods. We're not going after them, obviously. Like, and then like, the night is the best time to attack because we're asleep. And even if we're watching, you can't see shit outside of the mansion. There's a bunch of cover and it's nighttime, so you can just approach under cover of dark to the glowing mansion. You're obviously not going to get lost approaching. Is he scared he's going to trip?
Yeah.
Why? I thought they could see in the dark. They can. But us on high alert would no doubt make for a poor move. Even though there's one of us then and more of us now. Oswin, this was your counter argument to Dave saying they're not going to attack now that we're all awake, right? Like, well, they know not to attack at night when we're on high alert and one of us is awake and we're all sleeping. That's your response to us all being awake? You fucker, you don't remember the conversations you're in. Whoever is out there is outnumbered. Sure, but now that it's day, we're all awake. If we stick in groups, picking us off to get to what they're after will be much harder. Okay? You're still supposed to be arguing against the idea of attacking us in our sleep, Oswin, and you didn't. You're insane. So, stick together while we do what exactly? Search for a way in? Search for a way to safety? Off this mountain, I mean? Watch anime?
That restricts our search to just around the house if we're staying as far away from the danger as possible, right? That doesn't give us many options for finding things away from the house.
Just around the house is very specifically not an escape. Well, as it turns out, there is something else you could be searching for. The fucking tokens. What is it? The medals. Fuck you.
So stupid.
There was a confusing silence shared amongst the table after he spoke. Looks were exchanged as Oswin's smile faded. You may believe this just to be a game Roswell and Benson devised, but I assure you that along with coming out of this month alive, fulfilling the scavenger hunt is to the best of your ability is equally important.
We know that it isn't a game Roswell devised because he told us Benson told him to do it. What?
It's weird, like, the story frames it like it was Roswell's idea at the very beginning, and then it very obviously couldn't have been for the rest of the story, almost like he just decided retroactively to make the scavenger hunt way more important than it was, and retcon it mid-narrative, having already written the previous stuff, which I would never normally think somebody would do, but then we know everything about Orlando and Tyson and Dave's backstory contradicting everything else we know about them, so...
Yeah.
It's probably what happened. How the fuck is that more important than getting out of here alive? It's Sal. Our buddy Sal.
Oh, it is Sal. You're right. Sorry, I totally forgot I voiced this character.
I thought that it was only meant to be a game. Is it something to keep us distracted from thinking about being in danger constantly?
Partially.
Wait. Partially. Well, I guess... Okay, I guess he's just saying right now, because I was going to say, he came up with the idea of this before he knew there was any danger, so... It couldn't have been made for that, but he doesn't say that.
Like, he's just saying right now. Distract yourself, potentially. Even though distracting yourself from the danger is a horrible idea. Famous advice that parents give you is when you're around a road, forget cars exist. Just forget about cars. It's fine. You don't get distracted by the looming danger of cars. Just don't think about it. That'd be better. Do a scavenger hunt in the freeway and just don't think about the cars. This is their advice when there's a murder in the woods. What the fuck is wrong with you? Partially, although I did say it was equally important and not more so. Indulge me, or not. It's ultimately your call. Much like you, I have no idea where they are. If you could just take even the slightest effort in convincing us, that'd be helpful. But you never do. There's no information provided ever about why we should do this. Well, we found some, at least. Show me. Well, it's not like they're here with us now. Why would we be carrying them with us? Fine, then you can describe them to me.
If you give us a couple minutes, we can go retrieve them. It shouldn't be too hard.
Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they're in the room. Jesus Christ, who cares? Let's see. Now, while we wait for them to get back, I've been meaning to ask if no one is hungry. I would have expected coffee on the table by now. Fuck you?
Yeah, what?
I guess we've all just not really been in the mood to do anything about it. Hardly surprising.
You've never been in the mood to do anything ever. Anytime something comes up, you suggest doing nothing.
Although you can't just not eat. We should all have seen how well that fared for Dave in his throes of sadness. I'm right here. I'm very well aware. You're very embarrassing. All the more reason you should at least eat something, lest you go the day with an empty stomach. I remember what it's like to go days without food, and it's not pleasant. That's funny for him to remark back on, like, a history, because it's just, like... It would exclusively just be him, like... hyper-focusing.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have hardship. He never was on the streets or anything. He was never, like, struggling. He was just here, so... He just didn't eat for whatever reason and then remembered to eat. Okay. Well, I could make scrambled eggs, toast. Everyone fine with that? I'll come help.
Why is Dean cooking all of a sudden?
He's just doing something. Just
trying to be helpful.
Bless anyone.
I'm just surprised
bless anyone
because
who fucking does something.
We've established that cooking is Orlando's one personality trait. So I wasn't aware.
Well, they talk about being on rotation sometimes, but then they also talk about Orlando hogging it because obviously it's this thing. I just bless anyone who hears a problem and immediately responds to it by doing something.
Yeah.
In any context, really. I'll come help, I guess. Someone better make coffee while you're sorting that out anyway. Dean and Orlando wander towards the kitchen while Oz went, stop using wander all the time. Control F wandered is actually worse than side out and everything else. It's also just not what wandering is. Towards the kitchen while Oswin made himself comfortable at the table. The silence was uncomfortable, mostly because we all weren't sure what was going to happen next. Tyson and Sal returned after a little bit, dumping the medals they'd found on the table and sitting down. It wasn't long before Dean and Orlando emerged again, having hurried the preparation for breakfast so they could rejoin the group. So, these are the medals. This many? I didn't expect you to have been so diligent. Hey, it's Haas.
Hey.
Remember Haas?
He's part of this story, apparently.
We haven't seen him at all today, a single time.
No, we haven't.
Even when he was mentioned
he was mentioned, but didn't even get the dignity of being in the scene.
Yeah. I looked at the medals on the table with a frown. There weren't that many. And even what we did have, we'd found by sheer luck outside of the one we directly got a hint for. Right after it gets negged, Roswell's gonna fucking puff himself up.
We're quite resourceful, I'll have you know.
Sure, dude. Whatever you say, kiddo.
Roswell, I put this down to sheer dumb luck more than anything you consciously did. You literally just called this diligent. Fucking remember your own conversation. In any case, what have we got of the set?
First one's Aquarius, found in the hedge maze by Orlando.
Anyway, I brought up the definition out of spite. Wander. Move or walk in a leisurely, casual, or aimless way. Please stop using the word wander to describe people going to a destination on purpose.
Yes.
Which is what they are, which is every time it's used. It's only ever used when someone's going to the place they just said they're going to, and then they go straight there. And you call it wandering. And I'm like, no, it's not what that is. They could stroll. They could lope. There's so many walking words, and you're picking the only wrong one. Sal blurted out a quick apology for going into his room to get the medal, to which Orlando just waved it off. Aquarius? Right, what's next? I point out the medal that I found in the greenhouse quickly, speaking up. I found this one underneath the giant pumpkin in the greenhouse. The pumpkin...
Wasn't it also established that they know where they are? Someone knows where they are, right?
Supposedly no characters that we know where they are.
I thought something got brought up in one of the endings where it was like, well, we know where they are, but we can't tell you. Or maybe it was Florencia knew.
It might be Florencia. At the very least, Oswin, Thanatos, and Benson don't know. The pumpkin? That's a bizarre place to have found it. But no doubt there are other, more obscure places that these things could be found. I almost tripped over it, so yeah. How do you almost trip over something that was under a pumpkin? How do you trip over a coin? What the fuck are you talking about? Given that pumpkin has been growing there for quite a while, it's a wonder anyone found it. But this one is Taurus. It was under the pumpkin? I thought it was in the dirt behind him when they were arguing in the greenhouse. In a different scene than the pumpkin.
Yeah, I think it was underneath the pumpkin.
Huh.
Hold on. Can we just back up and find out why you know which is which? What do you mean? It has a fucking astrological sign on it. Even I know the zodiac, and I think this stuff is stupid. Like, what?
I don't have the symbols memorized, but yeah, they are just a thing you can just know.
You see, Hoss, I've read Homestuck.
Just a really specific, weird, irritating explanation from, like it's secret. Why wouldn't I? The medals belong to my family. That's not the answer. See,
No.
I just said it's going to be a stupid answer instead of the correct answer, which is that it's public information.
They're fucking zodiac signs. What?
I knew it was going to be an annoying answer, and it is. I'm like, they're just the zodiac. Oh. I look quickly to Tyson. What about that one we found, Ty? It's not here. No idea what you're talking about. You know, in the maze?
That was Aquarius, unless there's a second medal.
There was, I think. Kinda. It was the half of the half of the coin.
Yeah.
The other half is in the bad end. Well, which is it? Did you find a medal or not? I found one. If I found one, it'd be on the fucking table.
Why is he being coy about it? Why can't he just be like, yeah, we found half of a medal?
Know. Tyson's being competitive or something?
But this would prove that he is useful in the marketplace of ideas. I don't understand.
I scratched my head.
He literally...
and caught Tyson's eye. Only a couple of moments passed, but he quickly shook his head. Something to bring up with him later, it seemed. So, what now? Did we do good? Am I a good boy?
I hate this so much. I don't understand why Tyson's like, no, we can't talk about our strategic play is not to participate. Why? I don't understand. I don't get it. Why would this be the strategic play, Tyson?
The character who knows nothing about the medals or what they're for or even what's at stake. I don't think he's even been promised money in this timeline yet. Well, it's hardly a complete set, but you're making progress. Plenty more to go, however. Should pose enough of a thing to focus on to distract you from what dangers are lurking in the woods. If not that, I have something else to offer. Such as what? $1 million each.
What? What did you say?
Too low? Make it 2 million then. I honestly don't care either way.
I think this is the stupidest shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Oswin, that's a lot of money. How much could rent cost?
You're really reckless with your money. You know that, right?
It's because he's not expecting us to survive this month, or for him to survive this month, or for the future to happen. So he's recklessly promising money he never intends to pay because of what's happening. Am I?
Dude, you can't just casually drop numbers like that. 7 million without batting an eye? Normal people can't do that.
It's 14 million. Get together. I don't understand the issue. None of you are normal. Wait, did auto proceed? What? Stop. That's annoying. None of you are normal, so me offering just a paltry sum of money as incentive should be... I wasn't paying attention to anyone other than Oswin, and that's why the spoon that flew across the table and smacked him across the face made me do a double take. Roswell?
$2 million is not a paltry sum of money, and we don't need to be bribed to go along with stuff just because.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, you actually do.
Hey, everyone, shut the fuck up and take the money. Why are we arguing? Either do the challenge for the money or don't do the challenge for the money, but why are you like, how dare you offer us $2 million? The fuck is... Shut up. Shut up. Who the fuck He's right. You guys aren't fucking normal. Why is this your response?
I love this particular thing because it's very like, sure, we'll help you get the medals. Well, what if I sweeten the pot and give you $2 million to incentivize you to get the medals? No, that's crazy. I guess we should just sit around and do nothing. It's
also
like, wait, what? You already agreed.
Just once again, this is a thing to distract them from the murdering, and like the act of looking for the medals will put them in danger and potentially get them killed. So you need to incentivize them to do it via money. And then the response is Roswell being like, we don't need to be bribed to go along with stuff. Like, what? Of course you need incentive to risk your lives for some stupid fucking medals. What the fuck are you talking about? This isn't... You're acting like you're being... Your honor's being besmirched, like you're being bribed into saving someone's life or something. Like you were asked to do a good thing and you're all being cowards, so he's bribing you. That's what you're acting like. That's when this conversation happens in movies. But it's a stupid task with no incentive and no reason to do it that will probably get you killed. So... the fuck? Why is anyone reacting like this? And part of that is the fact that no one's correctly reacting to the fact that the idea of being distracted by a scavenger hunt is stupid because it puts you in danger. Like, no character has registered that, but I've registered that, and everyone should be registering that, obviously. So at this point, they're moon people.
But the thing about that, though, is that it's also just absurd because they already, like... they're already doing it. They have medals. Like they have already participated in this.
Oswin saying none of you people are normal is just the funniest fucking line in the game.
It is genuinely very funny.
It's great. Does that warrant a spoon flung across the table, boy? Have you no table manners? You don't have any manners, Oswin, at all. That's your character.
If we're talking properly, I don't think you have any right to judge me, Mr. I'm throwing money at problems.
I would like you to know that throwing money at problems does indeed often solve problems. In fact, it's one of the best parts about money, and one of the things that makes having money really useful, and is one of the things that makes people who don't have money want money. That is not an actual comeback. What are you talking about?
Yep, it's there's such a weird fixation on money lately, and it's all talked about so strangely.
Yes.
Like it's not a concrete thing in people's lives that changes their lives and so on. Like it's just very, very weird. Very, very odd. Especially like for a story coming from a writer who is presumably scraping by based on a not incredible Patreon income as a writer. Like,
yes.
And probably, like, even the writer's material relationship with money doesn't match up with how the characters are acting in the stories. So why are they acting this way?
Yeah.
How dare you, boy? What? God, stop. You're acting like children.
Well, I might be young enough, but what's his excuse?
I hate you. I hate young people that use their youth as an excuse overtly for their bad behavior, because that's already too much self-awareness of their bad behavior to be excused by their youth. It doesn't work that way. You can't be self-aware and blame it on your own youth. You did this with Tyson, and now you're doing it with Oswin, Roswell. Not cool.
What?
We have other things to be stressed with without you adding to the mix. I think it just means antagonizing people on purpose.
Gotcha.
But that's a lot of money.
Yeah, that is quickly about to be in your hands. Be happy about it.
What a weird fucking reaction. Money that I'm free to do with as I choose. It's going to do a lot more good as an incentive to stave off worry than in sitting around in my bank account.
If you're offering the money, then fine, we'll take it. He clearly doesn't want it, and if we get out of this alive, it would be nice to cover whatever therapy we need to get to put this behind us. It's amazing how quickly, like, my quote-unquote, like, favorite characters of this story have changed over the course of the playthrough, because, like, originally I was like, I like Sal. He's, like, reasonably emotionally intelligent compared to other characters. And then, like, that changed really rapidly over time. And then I was like, okay, I like Tyson. He's decently well written and is wronged for no reason. And then that quickly changed. And now I'm just like, you know what? Haas is my favorite character because he's just not around. He just has nothing meaningful to say, says normal person shit, and then is like, all right, whatever. Even though I hate him and Orlando's like weird anime weeaboo nonsense, at least
Haas is like the most acceptable character to be in a room with at this point when he's not talking about anime.
Yes, exactly.
And even then, he just has the same boring opinions that all the anime people I encounter in real life already have. So it's
yeah,
like,
so it's like I'm tolerant of this.
The subs are better. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna keep watching Dungeon Meshi in English and having a great time. You have fun missing art, I guess. I realized the inherent irony in me calling it Dungeon Meshi when I said watching it in English.
For what it's worth, the English title of that show is fucking weird,
Delicious
and I don't understand.
Dungeon. My favorite part of it being called Delicious in Dungeon is the fucking narrator keeps saying it every episode.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, it's weird because it's more Englishy than just calling it Dungeon Meals, which is what the name of it is.
Just monster food.
Yeah, I don't know.
Delicious in Dungeon is a strange thing to land on.
Allegedly, it's because they wanted to keep the D&D connection.
Oh,
but
it does have a little bit of that cadence, I guess.
Yeah, but I just don't really.
The Dungeons and Dragons parody thing is always to have two words that are both analogous to dungeon and dragon, though, that also share the same first letter.
Yeah,
it's like not.
What was it in Riverdale? Griffins and gargoyles.
Yeah, like it's always something like that, like caverns and kobolds or something. I did that wrong because of the K, but whatever. Is that really okay?
Of course it's not.
Why is it not okay? The offer has been made. Should you wish to take the money after all it is said and done, or refuse, we can deal with it then. Is this fine, Roswell? There was less pushback when Benson made the same offer with less clear terms. I think it was less clear how much money you'd get, and also less clear how he would even act on it, and whether or not he even had the access to the money he was talking about. And Tyson was like, yeah, fuck it. and then nobody else gave any pushback, I think. And now it's like a long argument where no one makes sense. Is this fine, Roswell? Roswell seemed to be grumbling to himself, but said nothing to refute him. I noticed Sal carefully sliding the cutlery away from him, lest any more went airborne, and threw me a quick nod when he seemed satisfied nothing was in reach. I'll take that as a yes. And on that note, I shall leave you to it. I take it you already have your assigned buddies from your game. That shall do for now.
I don't understand why the buddies need to be assigned. just find them all together.
Yeah, You said what? One, the buddy system isn't enough safety.
Yeah.
The buddy system was previously a social thing, but now it's a safety thing, and two people is not enough extra safety for rabbit murder. So it should be like the group system at this point.
Yes.
But also, you said $2 million each, and you did not balk. And even though the math was wrong because they did it in terms of $1 million, he said $7 million, and you did not argue with that. So that means you're implying you're gonna pay everyone, not the winners. So the buddy system's gone. We're done with it. It doesn't make any sense. For what?
Buddy system for staying safe. Remember, guess if we're looking for medals again, it makes sense that we may as well do it in teams we started with.
We should stick with the team that we organized that wasn't organized based on safety. For safety. Indeed. Wait, we have a problem then.
Right.
It's no problem. Roswell can come with Dean and myself. Sure, it'll be a group of 3, but who really cares at this point?
Was it? Okay, Roswell didn't say anything. Okay, I was like, did Roswell... for a second there, I thought Roswell introduced the buddy system again, and I'm like, it's really weird that you just realized you're not in it.
Yeah.
Of course it's not.
I was going backwards.
Oh, okay. It's no problem. Okay, we already read this one.
All right, sure, I guess. No problem at all then, right?
I guess not. This is 100 problems. There's so many problems. I had followed Ty out of the dining room automatically. Sure, part of it was that he was my partner, but another bigger part was that he was just someone I was used to following. Suddenly he stopped, sighing out. There it is! And turning to look at me. Ty, what's wrong? Nothing, just... This whole thing is fucked. That's absolutely a something. He reached out and lazily slapped my face, keeping contact from my forehead down to the tip of my nose. What?
Did you just cheese him? I don't understand. Just put a big slice of American cheese right on him?
Yeah, I guess he just clap right on top of his muzzle. It took me a while to orient what I was reading, because inherently a slap feels like it's coming from the side on a cheek. That's like the slap zone. So realizing that it's going across his entire muzzle, I'm like, is this a slap? I don't know. Brat? Brother? Stop saying that word.
What?
You were just fantasizing about his sheaf up your asshole, so let's not. No. Stop saying that word.
I just don't get how that's a retort to brat.
No. If his tail wasn't wagging a mile a minute, I wouldn't have... Why'd that get his tail wagging? I wouldn't have been too sure how he'd take it. But he seemed to relax. If his tail wasn't wagging a mile a minute, I wouldn't have been too sure how he'd take it, but he seemed to relax. The fuck? What are you saying? It implies he went, like he was wagging his tail rapidly, and now he's relaxing and not wagging his tail. But
Yeah.
1 second ago, his previous line was about how everything's fucked, so he's stressed out and grumbly, so it wasn't wagging. Or, I don't know, it's just confusingly written. Are you still feeling scared? Fucking terrified. Can't you tell from my tail that's wagging a mile a minute? What the fuck is it? You want to talk about it? No? Did you need to talk about it? Probably. We can talk while we look for the medals then. Besides, like, spending time together and stuff. He grunted, eyeing me off carefully. Eyeing me off. I don't know what that means.
Me neither.
Alright, where are we looking? I don't even know. They could be anywhere, including the other half of the not metal you found. Why are you keeping that to yourself anyway? It wasn't a medal. Well, yeah, but it's half of one, right? Maybe someone else might have found the other half.
Once again, characters not fucking answering the questions stated to them.
Are known where to look? Ty shrugged, but remained stuff. Huffing and looking to the side. I don't want their fucking help. I want to do this on my own.
What? What?
Why? What, is this your calling in life? Why is this your mission? Oh. Fuck. No, wait. I meant finding the other half of the metal thing. Right? So I should just... No, just come here. He dragged me by the arm off the side into one of the side rooms. Off to the side in the side room, shutting the door behind him. I waited and he paced. It's the mysterious room! Mumbling something to himself before growling and turning to me. What I want is to be with you, alright? What you just said...
What is telling them about the medals due to that?
No,
what do you mean?
It's completely unrelated, because it's not like looking for the half of the medal specifically gives them any direction. They're still just searching for anything.
And they're still in teams! They're still in teams!
Yeah, like, it's literally unrelated. It's not like you have to collect the other half of this metal side quest, and they don't want to tell the other people because they might accept the quest too, and then they'll know the markers and go that way. It's like, no one knows where to look for anything. I swear, Dave, you make me just want to... He grabbed me roughly by the cheeks, the excess fluff falling through his digits. Ow, quit it.
It is so hard for me to believe that Tyson and Dave have any chemistry at this point.
No.
Especially when, you know, like, when Tyson is the, like, yaoi trope of, like, I'm not gay, just for you. Like, it's hard to believe even for a second that Tyson actually is interested in Dave at all. Like, what personality does Dave have to get Tyson interested in, especially in this conversation where literally all Dave does is go like, yeah, I guess. Like, that's it. That's all he does. He doesn't actually say anything. The smallest amount of pushback to anything Tyson says just terminates Dave's critical thinking skills.
They're rough. Tyson was so much more likable when you weren't actually in this route. Ugh. His grip loosened, but he didn't move his hands. Instead, he just watched me, and I watched him back silently, just watching how his expression shifted slightly, the twitch of his nose, the few visible whiskers I could see trembling. Sorry. Should we sit down? We don't have to search for metals right now. Alright, sure. This room is old as fuck. Reminds me of what I think an old person's place looks like. You've never... I guess not, but still. Why would I? Never knew one set.
What?
Never knew one set and the other fuck if I know. What?
Maybe they're talking about grandparents?
I don't know. They're parents, I guess? Yeah.
Grandparents thinking like never knew one set of them, so like my dad's, but the other fuck if I know. So he never knew both of them is what he's saying.
Yeah, it gets difficult to follow implication when they have several consecutive sentences where people don't just say what they're talking about. They're like it's all inference and and dot 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 and time together and stuff. You're swearing a lot, Ty. I can swear if I fucking want to. Now you're starting to sound like mom. Hot? Question mark? Like what the fuck? Why is that your reaction? What a weird reaction. Tyson's voice went low, quiet. He didn't seem mad, although that comment really didn't rub him the right way. Don't compare me to her. Why not? You'd probably, well, actually it's better you're not. It's better you're very similar. It's because you're very similar that you two don't get along, right? This is such a weird Freudian mess to unpack with the idea that like your boyfriend's too much like your mom. I don't like this. Along with other things, I'm worried what she's going to say when we get back home, like how she'll react. Probably good that you still had plans to bail, right? Why would you say that? It's probably good you're going to run away from home and we're not going to see each other for a while because my mom's not going to react well to our relationship. Yeah, I can imagine she'll flip.
What's being said.
If she's even around. Yeah, because the mom is basically not a character.
Yeah.
She's got to be, right? I love my mom, but I don't know. She's busy. What? That's a counterpoint. If she's too,
Dave is just like the most neglected character in this story. Like no one loves him.
He has a mom that's too busy to deal with him, and his dad's dead. So, I turned out great. He says. Great way to fucking deal with your husband dying. Way to abandon your kid, Carol. Hey, I wanted to jump to her defense, but instead I just collapsed in a slump on a nearby chair, sighing out. Maybe we should talk about Dad when I get home. You know, Mom and me. Yeah, why? Well, like, I barely see her. We barely talk, so maybe what she needs is like what you gave me? And I give you what exactly? A hard time? I chuckled to myself as Ty dropped down next to me, stretching out. He didn't sigh.
Good for him.
I think more just someone that you can talk to about stuff. Anything, you know? There's stuff I've told you that I didn't tell her or Orlando or even Dad. Shit, what didn't you tell David? Just small things, but nothing big really. But I felt comfortable just telling you, so I did. Ty nodded slowly, scratching his neck. I guess you're kind of the same, yeah? Although, not like I had any options. Thanks? I think? No, I mean, like, it's a good thing. I like that you're my guy for that, even compared to Haas, my best friend.
My best friend.
3
I
days
forgot
ago.
about this. This is stupid.
You're the guy to that, even compared to Haas. What's insane about this sentence is it's written as if that they have a history of being best friends.
Yes.
But Dave's the one he confides in. And I'm like, you became best friends with Haas yesterday. I don't know. I feel better going to you about stuff. Almost like you're my actual longtime friend and family or whatever that I have history with, and Haas I met here.
Literally yesterday.
The fuck? You've been up to Dean about stuff too, right? That's because he's gonna be your boyfriend or whatever. I let the comment hang that. Yeah, it's because he always insists that we're going to be with Dean throughout this whole route. He always says this. It's exhausting. Because once again, we keep not interacting with Dean, just like always. I let the comment hang there, instead pulling at a stray piece of fur sticking out of my cheek. What? Don't worry about it, Ty, it's fine. Like hell it is. I don't think I like Dean as much as what other people want me to. That's fucking creepy and weird as a concept. Everyone's just like, everyone's just so invested in Dean and Dave for some reason. Fucking like they're shipping real people. Dean's a great friend. We go out and see stuff, eat food, but like, should I be feeling some kind of magical spark like in the movies?
Why is it that we're only learning that what he and Dean do together on the route where you date Tyson?
And this late in, after it needed to be set up to explain most of Dean.
Because our big complaint with the Dean romance, quote unquote, is that it's literally never portrayed that they like have a connection or ever do anything. Like the very premise that they're dating doesn't make sense.
And also
so
has
it's
an
like,
upsetting age difference.
Yeah. Well, yes, obviously. But the thing that I've always been hung up on is just like, we have so much chemistry. Dean thinks he's my boyfriend. And our thought has always been like, why? You guys, we have no idea. He says you've never been on a date before. So what do you spend time doing? Like, how does he know you? You're not even in school together. But then like,
every description of Dean contradicts all the other descriptions of his Dean. So it's really hard to build a log cabin out of these facts. Like you just can't. It's every piece is to a different puzzle. And you're like, wait, these don't match. Fuck if I know. Well, you should. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? What I mean is like, how do I make you feel? Pissed off sometimes? High side out. Quickly ran his hands through his fur, making it messy. It had already started to bristle over the last few moments after I'd spoken. But then, like, there are other times where I feel safe. Kind of like this stupid warm feeling in my chest. It's nice, but not in a gay way. Right? I feel like this is stupid. This is about you. Kinda, but like, what I feel for Dean isn't really like that. He's big and strong, and that makes me feel safe. He's kind and sweet, and I'd probably be able to laugh a lot more freely around him now.
Is he kind and sweet?
I don't know.
Good question.
We don't have scenes with Dean. But he's not someone I love. Maybe I will someday, maybe I won't. It almost seems silly to be considering all these kinds of things when we could be dead tomorrow. And yet, here you are. Yeah, we might be dead tomorrow, but we probably won't be. I just don't want people expecting me to choose Dean just because I like him and he likes me back. I like other people too. Okay, fine, I'll back off. Good. Ty started to pull at his fur, and I reached out to grab his wrist. Stop that, you'll hurt yourself. Just sucks, you know? The hurting? Yeah, like, I'm happy for you, you're like, getting yourself together. You're acting like you've grown a pair again, or maybe I just forgot how much of a brat you can be sometimes. You're being a brat by saying, hey, stop pressuring me to date this person that I don't really like. That's a good thing, right? Well, it means I can work on my own shit now. Don't think you have to do that alone, you know. Ty didn't look at me, instead slumping in his spot next to me. Can I ask you something? Anything, what's up? When I asked you back about who you thought looked better, between me and Haas, I mean, I remember. What did you think of that? I thought it was confusing, but I think I answered honestly, you know, like, I slumped to mimic how he was sitting and put my hands on my belly. That's what you wanted me to say, right? The truth? And if I asked you again, like, I don't have the muscles Sal has. I'm not as lean as Haas. Okay? I don't have these, I'm not as extreme as these people. Why would you love me? Also weird that he doesn't have muscles when he's the character who works out the most in the narrative.
Yeah.
Well, you've been getting better at eating in general, so that's more important, right? Rich, coming from you. If I told you, would you answer a question for me after? I guess. I like you. You're my type. Maybe it's that scruffy appeal. Maybe it's just how you look at me. I don't really know. You're soft and comfortable when you need to be, but you're strong and brave at the same time too. But I'm not some pretty boy or like some raging homo like Orlando, who's not even on this topic. Like, is Orlando the raging homo of the cast?
It's just also really weird because, I mean, it's also just really weird because Dave's like, you're my type. And then Dave is there, and then fucking Tyson's like, I'm not a raging homo. What? One obviously was Orlando that. That doesn't seem...
Were we supposed to have been reading for the last 300 hours that Orlando is extremely flamboyantly gay?
So that is part of my question. But the other just question I have is like, but Dave literally just told you were his type. What has Orlando and Dave being together ever been a part of this equation? Why are you factoring? This is like me being like, sorry, you're my type, and then someone being like, but what do you mean? I don't look like Anya Taylor-Joy. And it's like, what? I'm gay. What are you talking about? How is this part of this conversation? What brought her into this?
It's just a completely different fucking character introduced all of a sudden. And it's like, I thought your standards were being skinny or being muscular, and then you threw in Orlando, and I'm like, okay, so all of these seem like valid options to you, but you think you're not? It's getting really wild now.
It's just like so far out of left field because Orlando, this conversation was not about like, oh yeah, well, I really like watching anime with Orlando and he's really scared, so it makes me feel strong. We were talking about Dean. So where is Orlando coming in here? Why would you just, he literally just wanted to nag Orlando. That's all he wanted to do.
I don't know. Why does that matter? I don't get it. I mean, like, I'm not anything like Orlando, but we're both gay. Right, okay, but you'd pick me over Haas? How do you not understand the basic premise that we have years of history together and we've bonded? And that's like what a relationship is. Like, it feels so stupid to explain in these terms. I guess so, yeah. There was we have no inkling that we would even be dating Haas in the narrative. That has never come up.
Exactly.
Haas and Dave have never made any kind of pass at each other or even expressed any interest in each other. Like, that's just what relationships are, bud. You don't just... What about her? Person walking down the street. Why would you pick me over her? I'm like, who the fuck is that? What the fuck are you talking about? There was the faintest of smirks that crossed his face before it disappeared again. He breathed in and sighed out. There it is again, glancing at me. Go on, your turn. What's the question? Why does this matter to you? What? Like, if you just wanted to give me to give you compliments, I do that just because, but this is like, I don't know, something you do if you wanted to know if someone liked you. I already know you like me. Maybe a little too much. Right? I've been clear on that for a while, but just I don't know where you sit on it. Do you like me back or not? He surprised me when he took my hand in his, giving it a gentle squeeze. I don't know. I'm squeezing your hand lovingly because I can't tell if I like you. You want to know something, Ty? What? I love you. Thanks. But as a brother, right? Oh, I hate this dynamic.
Yeah.
I hate that.
Also, again,
there's a
this
choice.
Is not,
there's a choice to fucking un-Tyson the Tyson route.
It's just weird too. That is funny.
It's
just weird
funny.
too because the question, I thought they've already established. They've already established that they like each other and are basically dating.
It's very confusing.
Get it?
It's a lot. It's also just, I'm really upset at the idea of even clicking as a brother at this point, given what Dave's fantasies were this morning.
Yeah.
Like, I'd hate that. I looked him in the eye and he pulled his gaze away. You dork. At least you're not freaking out over it. I think I'm slowly warming up to the idea. It doesn't feel as weird anymore. What made it weird to begin with? That you're a faggot.
Oh my god. I just hate this. You can't just say stuff like that. I'm gonna think that's what's actually in the text.
I know, I get people a lot with that, where I'll just say something else, and then they don't realize it's me joking. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it was seeing you hit puberty and wondering why the fuck you were horny all the time. What? You have not known each other long enough for it to see Dave go through puberty.
Yeah, what?
That doesn't make sense. You especially weren't buds. You met Tyson a year before he got kicked out of school, at most.
Which was high school,
that
wasn't
was the plot. Yeah. Like, did they really retroactively write them as being like borderline adopted brothers so thoroughly that now they're gonna say that Tyson saw Dave go through puberty while they had this relationship?
Maybe he just means they both went to the same school together, so he knows what he was like when he was a kid. I don't know. This is weird.
I don't think middle schoolers are aware of how horny each other are all the time.
No.
That's weird. So that's not... Like, what the fuck do you mean? What does that mean? How would you know Dave was horny all the time as a person you didn't even know the name of yet? That was just parallelly going through puberty? I
mean, we do know that that he bullied like Roswell and Orlando and stuff, but I just assumed that was supposed to happen, I guess, high school era.
We do need like a fucking timetable in this game. Like, it just needs to actually set up a timeline because it's so hard to process what they're talking about. But this definitely does not make sense. This definitely contradicts stuff. I sat up suddenly with a frown. I wasn't like that at all. I was just curious. What does that mean? What does that mean? That's why I caught you peeking? That's why you're so eager for me to scrub your back? What? No. No. When do you think puberty happens?
Yeah.
As a 17-year-old? Like, only if you're taking blockers. Like, what the fuck? What are you talking about? You don't have puberty when you're 17.
I was also under the impression that the taking a shower together was like an explicitly we're taking our relationship to the next level, it's kind of horny thing. Like, that is what they established.
Wait, yeah, aren't they talking about 2 days ago, not puberty? So they just
unless
changed
they
topics.
mean the gym showers at school, which is different.
Yeah, that's why that's why I recoiled inherently, not only because the timetable's completely fucked, because they weren't friends back then, but also, why would they be scrubbing each other's back in the gym showers at school while going through puberty? That's unhinged middle schooler behavior that has never happened in the United States. That's, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like on the level of like parents like taking a bath with their kids when they're 4. Like, what is this shared bathing you're doing as a middle schooler? I don't understand. I didn't hear you complaining. Well, I guess you're right. I genuinely don't know when they're talking about. I can't tell if they
I have
mean
no idea what's going on. I've lost the plot completely.
I really wish that the conversations in this game remembered what conversation they're having for the whole conversation, and don't just like forget and write something else midway through. Well, I guess you're right. I'm not promising anything, but something happens. I want you to promise me something. I won't promise, but you better. Promise what? Just be patient with me, alright? I know this is gonna be some shit that you're gonna say is dumb, and that obviously you would, but I just don't know how it's going to go. It could suck. It could be a mistake. I'll probably fuck up and hurt you by accident, even if even if we're not, you know. But what do you mean? I can't tell if you mean physically or emotionally. But you're saying even if you're not, so what? But I want to figure it out for you. I shuffled closer and rested my head on the spot between his shoulder and chest. Ty, it's moments like this that really make me worry, you know? Worry why? It feels so nice, but at the same time, like, the moment I get comfortable, something's going to come along and ruin it. So the hunting for metals thing isn't much of a distraction?
I forgot this conversation started because they were talking about the fucking metals. This game is... it truly is like being in a trance. Like, I feel like I'm being pranked by reality.
You know, no, it's wild. It's just like, I can't even cleanly chalk this up as like a lack of like skill at writing, because that just doesn't cover it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just like, I can only explain this game as being not written in the right state of mind. Like, while it's being written, you're not thinking about the things you should be thinking about. Like, it's not your prose exactly or your skill. Like, even if you do keep leaning on the same words constantly, it's like, there's like a lack of like presence of mind at the thing you're currently doing and what your goal is and where it's going, and so just kind of rambling, just kind of going on and on. We're not really hunting metals at all, are we, Ty? Guess not. What else is there to do? Well, guess we could fuck. Ty pulled off his shirt and started playing with it in his hands. Something about what he was doing made him seem nervous. Something about it made him seem nervous? You mean the part where he started stripping next to you after you just talked about where you are romantically, but then instead of any way proceeding to then like cuddle you or touch you, he just awkwardly sat there fiddling with a shirt in his hands, now shirtless next to you? That seemed nervous to you somehow? Something about that? Uh-huh. Oh god, he actually said it. He actually said it. I thought he was joking. He just said take it slow. That means like, let's just like hug it out, bro. Here, lay on my chest while we stare at the ceiling for the afternoon. No, just immediately disregard that talk. Literally just asked Dave to promise him to take it slow. And now he's saying, could always just, you know, fuck or whatever. He just, immediately after that conversation, he just takes his clothes off and says we should fuck. What, right here? You're the one hinting at wanting it. That was a while ago now, Ty. I mean, it's a little, besides, I guess I always figured you were just rallying me up with that offer. Like in the comic book, The Internship. You look kind of like that guy, actually. I think Cooper has a piercing now, too. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's just something I feel like I should be into more. But, you know, get anywhere near my tail and I start thinking about the worst kind of stuff. Put your shirt back on, Ty. We don't have to do anything you don't want to do. This was... I genuinely... Like, I was talking about that, and then it happened even harder, where I'm just like... In writing this scene, did they just forget about the take it slow conversation that they just wrote 1 second ago? It's like 2 lines ago? They quickly put it on and shifted uncomfortably on the spot. One day I'd like to get there, just so I can say I've done it. That's not the right reason.
That's not how, sexuality works. What?
That's not... It's what? Like you're you're collecting things for a sticker book? Shouldn't it be for Dave? Shouldn't that be the reason? With me or maybe, but that's not important right now.
I just want to have gay sex. I'm not gay. I just want to say I've done it.
How have you pivoted to wanting to just have ambiguous gay sex with anyone now and doesn't even matter if it's Dave? I thought, wait, how do you, what the fuck? Every line is a new surprise. It really is. It's like the appeal of like those like, this was written by an AI stories that people were lying about 4 years ago because they weren't, and it was just like a non sequitur comedy writing. It's just happening at us in real time. He got up, offering out a hand. Now come on, we should at least try and find the other half of this thing. Okay, I guess we are looking for medals then. Fucking, or any of the others, right? I stood up and smiled at him. Do you feel better at least, having just had this talk? He stepped in closer and wrapped his arms around me. I thought they were sitting. In turn, I thought they sat down and stretched out and stuff I thought specifically they were sitting. In turn, I did the same, and we just stood there hugging for a bit. I do, yeah. Still scared as hell, though, but this makes it easier to cope. Now let's go out into the woods and look for a medal. We could stay here if you wanted. We're safe together. And no one we need to know. Please just fucking make a choice. I swear to God, people. Until we start getting hungry for lunch, then we'll have to walk 5 feet to the kitchen. Or if Orlando makes pumpkin bread. Shit, he's making pumpkin bread? When did he tell you that? I chuckled for a moment. Ty realized I was joking and he grumbled. There's no period there. Even at taking a break for lunch, nothing came up. Not that we looked very hard, but we didn't really have any direction to begin with. We barely ran into any of the others, too. All keeping distracted in their own way. It seemed very few of us are actively searching for more medals. Not that I could blame them, either. Yay! Oh, it was one line. It was the, here's where the scenes join line. At some point, Osmond and Benson had swapped out from keeping watch. And given the lack of gunshots, it seemed that we were still without any extra guests. It brought me some relief, but still had me anxious. Almost like the prospect of someone threatening to pop a balloon inches from our face, but without telling you when or why. But still, it seemed that Osmond and Benson were discussing who should keep watch next, so they haven't switched then. What the fuck? They swapped, but no they didn't, because they're currently discussing it. With how Benson was fussing over Oswin, it reminded me of Dad. Granted, Benson was shorter than Oswin by a fair bit, but he seemed to comply, if begrudgingly, to whatever it was that Benson had decided for the two of them. No one else seemed to have turned up anything as far as medals went, either, but progress was progress, even if it was just getting us back into the motions of looking for them, and the thing that we have no reason to care about. We ate dinner, and everything was surprisingly normal, but as of late, something starts to eat at me again. Something about this morning that made me wonder what I should do next. Wait, I'm sorry, the passage of time is so fucked again. So, they woke up super early, talked in the garden, then went back to bed, then woke up at the normal morning to have breakfast, and they had to and we know it's breakfast because they had to talk about making themselves make breakfast because no one's hungry. Then they said, hey, look for the medals, and Tyson and Dave went to the other room to just cuddle just talk about their feelings for a bit. They then said, maybe we should look for the medals, but then one line of dialogue later, they're having dinner.
Yeah.
That one conversation was the entire day, somehow. Yes. And we have an airtight, connection between those scenes. Huh. But as I ate, something started to eat at me again. Something about this morning that made me just wonder what I should do next. Thankfully, I knew exactly who to ask. Oswin? Can we talk?
Oswin's the guy you talked to. He's going to tell you to look for the fucking medals.
Yeah. Or he's going to say your ideas are stupid and then go and ask about the idea you had. The two of them turned to me as I lingered halfway through the open door to the backyard. We can. Do you require privacy?
If you need it, I can step inside should you wish.
No, it's fine. Stepping out so I was in the night air, I breathed in deep and looked around, sighing out. No, it's not there. So far, so good, even with the familiar feeling of that night chill nipping at my fur. Is everything all right? Did you find a medal by any chance? No, not that. Then what is it? I was just thinking about everything that happened up until this point, wondering about, like, what our next move should be. After all, we can't just continually be on the lookout, right?
Oh, oops, I thought this was Osmond still.
You have a point, my boy. Have you thought of any ideas on what we should do?
It's really crazy that you could pick literally any color in the world, and for all these characters, they just pick slightly different colors of red.
Yep. What gets me a little bit is that, like, nothing has changed since Dave last just accepted the answer there was nothing to do.
Yeah, nothing has changed since the last time he fucking talked to these two.
Yeah. Not really, but I did have a question. Didn't you just ask a question? He's starting to remind me of Roswell. What? That's the worst thing you could say about anyone. In what way? He's been quizzing me a lot lately about what we should do as well. What the next move should be and such. Like, a normal fucking person who wants to not die. After all, his idea of a vacation has been tainted by this unfortunate arrival. Never mind what he knows about this trip. Question after question that young boar takes after his mother for sure.
Dave didn't come out here to hear you reflect on Roswell, but he's clearly got something on his mind.
Right. Well, it's the thing behind the vault door. What about it? You said this morning that, like, we can't let that get into the hands of someone bad because of what they could do with it. But if we destroyed it, then what's the risk? I want to point out that Dave dropped the topic of what should we do, what should we be planning, without actually getting a no or an answer. He just forgot he asked 1 second later and asked a different question, as if that was the original question he meant to ask. Very weird. Like, Dave asked a question, and then Benson was like, "Oh, you had a question, Dave?" And then Dave asked a different question instead.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. This is unhinged.
Standing stiff. Alas, I don't know the code to the door, so that plan is a failure from the get-go. Well, you don't, but Benson does, right? The two of them looked to one another quickly before turning back to me.
That's a tad bit more complicated than I've let on, Dave.
I offered as a reward, but I was lying. But how? You said if we could find all the medals, we could have what was on the other side, but that's just because you're gatekeeping it for the sake of the game, right? Even though we know what's on the other side, what it is now? And why would you want that as a reward? I really feel like because they don't rewrite old things, they wrote the idea that you get behind what's behind the vault as a prize. Mm-hmm. But then they rethought. Then they retconned what's behind the vault and retconned what the medals are for, and then they still have to grapple with the fact that was said at some point, which realized actively is insane now.
Yeah, the idea of what's behind in the vault as a prize is actually actively untrue now because we learned it will kill anyone who takes it.
Yeah, like no one would want that. But that was the original prize. The whole point is that you're supposed to get behind the vault if you find all the medals, and you can only open them with the medals. And it's like,
it also sort of implies that Benson willingly was just like, yeah, we'll kill a bunch of kids. They'll open the vault and then die.
They also said that, like, nobody is supposed to ever take or get this not cure.
Yes.
And the job of literally Osmond said, when I die, somebody else will safeguard it for me. So they're just going to keep guarding it forever. But while this is happening, Benson is sending us on a mission to find all the medals, which is how you open the door.
Yes.
Like, what the fuck are they talking about?
I mean, we know from like a meta-narrative level that it's going to affect something and be really important, but it's just
the only
nonsense.
Possible explanation is that's the true ending. That's all it can be.
Yeah.
But all the lead up to it is insane. But how? You said if we can find all the metals that we can have what was on the other side, but that's just because you're gatekeeping for the sake of the game, right?
Yes and no, regrettably.
I don't like the sound of this. I know the password to the thing inside the vault. There's a containment vessel holding what we spoke about, but that's not tied to the vault mechanism. Unless I told you, you'd struggle to get past the security in that thing.
What?
So there's also, like, a capsule of some sort.
You open the vault, and then there's a chest inside with a combination lock you need to figure out on its own.
There's another lock.
Beyond that, however, I'm sorry to have to inform you that while I can assure you that you're allowed whatever's beyond the door should you find the metals, as of right now, the password eludes me as well.
They can't open the thing in their own house that they made on purpose. Wait, so that door can't be opened at all? I don't understand. What's the risk?
People
what's
who
the
like
risk
this
of
are rubes with no taste. Like, mask off. This is bad, and it's a condemnation that people enjoy.
I don't think they read. I don't even mean like other stuff. I don't think they read this game. I think they mash through scenes that they get bored during and stuff like that, and like half pay attention to it, and like don't think about anything being said, which is a weird thing. It's a weird way to interact with a mystery.
Yeah. This is rough to read. Like it is like actively difficult.
Like the whole point is supposed to be paying extra close attention to everything happening in this narrative because it's a multi-route narrative where all of the routes affect each other and your understanding of what's happening. This is not one of those games where you just pick a waifu and then you just play a completely different story from that point on. Like they're supposed to, like, they're literally interlocking and the changes all matter and so on. And it's like, this is specifically the genre that requires you to be doing a close reading of what's happening to understand and follow. And inherently, if you're making close reading, you'll then notice the 500 billion writing problems. So paradoxically, all of the people that play this game that like it seemingly would have to be refusing to engage with it as the thing it is at the same time. But really, it's like, it's what I've said before. You get like a Patreon and a Discord community. They self-filter where all the people that don't like the thing just bounce off and you never hear from them in the first place. All the people that do like it all get captured into one little spider's web together and all like fester with each other and make woobly fan art of all their blorbos. And then they get so fixated on that they forget about the video game that they even were basing it on. And they just write little dialogues like, what would it be like if Tyson and Sal interacted at the beach? And then that's more the fandom at that point than the game was. Wait, so the door can't be opened at all? I don't understand. What's the risk of just handing it over and then we could just hike back home?
I'm really struggling, man.
Do you know how we remove a basement from a mountaintop building, Dave? We cannot simply hand over the room to him. No, just like relinquish control of it and leave. That's what he's... Oswin, you're not contradicting him. But it's not a room at all, is it? It's something else, unless he's like, I don't know, a genius like you are. I don't think it's that dangerous.
I'd refrain from stroking his ego, Dave. Still, perhaps there is something we can do to stave off some danger. Perhaps meeting with this rabbit could warrant some thought.
You know who the rabbit is.
Yeah, they all know his name.
But like Benson and Oswin have a history with them, so they know that there's not going to be any warrants to meeting with them.
I think it was also a retcon that he's been here before.
Gotcha, okay.
I feel like that also wasn't true yet.
Gotcha.
I'm not meeting with that rabbit again. Once was bad enough. See, once. I don't think that they know that they've met him before because that wasn't thought of yet.
Yeah.
Wait, you've met him before? Oh, he does mean last time then.
I'd hardly call it a meeting, but he was present the last time Memphis Noble came toting up in his limousine.
So he's not counting when they shot at him.
I guess not.
Why is this only coming up now? You get a good look at him. You got a good look at him, right? Why is it only coming up now? Because this is when we thought of this plot point.
Unlike Oswin, who is prone to jump the gun when it comes to our lagomorphic visitors, I prefer to be a certain
I prefer to be certain before taking action. I couldn't tell what he was saying for a second. If it is indeed the same Jack,
I am almost positive it is. He's more useful to us alive.
What?
Literally the opposite strategy that you have employed with Jack literally any other time he has shown up in any of these plot lines.
One, I don't know what it means for Oswin to be prone to jumping the gun when it comes to our lagomorphic visitors. Plural bunnies, multiple rabbits, and he jumps the gun all the time at them. What does that sentence mean?
Yeah,
but
good
also,
question.
like, how is he more useful alive? He's just the Joker.
Yeah.
You can't reason with him. He won't help you with anything. He's probably not even a good hostage or anything. What the fuck? How is he more useful alive? He tried to kill me. All the more reason we should do away with him when we get the chance. He's trespassing. He wants the vault, and he wants to know if Benson's still alive. But I guess he should know about you now, right?
So long as I'm around, I think we should be all right. After all, what's the worst he can do alone?
Kill you.
True.
The thing that's happened in other timelines already. He literally was going to stab me. Fair point. Uh-huh. Regardless, we have no bargaining chip we can hand over to make him leave us alone either. My head started to hurt, and without... Me too, buddy. Without realizing it, I'd closed my eyes and clutched my temple. Interesting. What is? Just you. I worry that come the month's end, your head is going to be hurting a lot more if you keep using the vault. Keep using the vault? It'd be great if they wrote a narrative where he keeps using the vault. We're just suddenly... Are we just suddenly implying out of nowhere that Dave has recurring headaches from using the vault?
I think it has been brought up a few times. Is that like...
I only remember it happening when he uses the vault specifically,
Yes.
but not like a new symptom that's worsening over time. That's just suddenly being introduced on day 16 when he hasn't used the vault recently.
Yeah.
And this is specifically the part of the game where the game seemingly forgets about the vault and stops using it for the rest of the game. Weird. I could just be dehydrated, maybe. If you wish for an injection, I can oblige. But in lieu of Benson's disapproval, let me say that I imagine the vault is doing a number on your psyche. But I guess have a Gatorade anyway. Have you had a liquid IV, Dave? Remembering events from past iterations of your timeline, who knows what change that could have on you, or how lasting it may be.
That's enough, Oswin. He's not one of your lab rats.
Wait. Oh, remembering past iterations and change. Okay. For a second there, I conflated change and timelines, and I was like, did he just say changing my timelines? That's not how the time travel works. I was worried. Thanatos has a brother I haven't met? Wait. Oh. No, Dave, you're stupid. No, it's just him.
Just as well. I have no fondness for that thing.
Just...
It's a rat, Benson. If you say so. Now, was there anything else? I guess not, but if there's ever a plan on what we can do next, can I be told first? Or if not first, just one of the first?
I shall endeavor to ensure that for your peace of mind, Dave.
Okay, cool. Thanks. Was there anything else? Would you like to know more? It's like we're going back to the base of the tree in an RPG, and it keeps prompting us to pick a different option.
Yeah.
Just one more question, but for Benson. Oh?
What is it, my boy?
If we got you all the medals, what do you plan on doing with them? Do they make a key? Do they have some special thing that lets you open the door, or... Why would Dave ask
I'm going to
that?
hand them all to Memphis. Dragons love gold.
I think Florencia told us this or something, but he doesn't know that. So, like, why would Dave ask this question? Like,
To make sure that the audience knows,
Yeah.
because they're not reading. So you have to you have to put in the game a 700 different trailheads to the same information because the audience is skipping to get to the scenes they can jerk off to.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, specifically, he gets so specific, like, do they all combine to make a key? I'm like, wait, Dave, why are you saying that out loud? That's weird. That's supposed to be the part that Benson says in response or something, if he's going to answer you. Benson looked at Oswin, who quirked a brow curiously at him in kind.
That's a complicated question. Probably one of the best answered once all the metals are found. I haven't thought of it yet, so we'll get there when we get there.
I'm still writing the ending, Dave. Try me. If I leave now, I'll probably be up thinking about it. He's got you there.
Very well.
Do you got someone that way?
I have my orders that should all the metals be found, I'm to prove it. In turn, I'll get the password for the vault door for essentially granting to whomever so I choose.
I never gave you such orders.
Indeed. This one was a directive issued by your sister.
She's here?
Oh, I highly doubt that, sir. This request came from her long before Dave and his friends arrived. Truth be told, I was a bit confused as to why I'd be given one, but such is serving the Hammond family after all.
But with the phones not working, I guess calling her or snapping a picture is going to be impossible.
Quite. However, I'm sure I'll figure something out. I'm a man of my word.
Fuck you. Fuck you. One, just the idea that the metals don't just go into a slots to magically open a door is frustrating, that you're supposed to somehow communicate with Flourish. But just saying, at the time comes, I'll figure out how to reach her. Do it now. Yeah. The stakes are already that high. We're all we're cut off in the world by people that are hunting us. What the fuck do you mean you'll figure it out if you need to communicate this information? Do it now. What the fuck?
Yeah.
We need to reach the outside world right now. I could almost hear Osmond grinding his teeth in frustration from where I stood, but he stayed quiet. Okay, well, I guess I'll head off to bed then, and thanks.
You're very welcome, Dave. Good night.
Oh. Without thinking, I pulled out my phone and got halfway through sending a message to Ty before realizing the reception was out. Becoming very mechanical, where the plot just goes scene with Tyson, scene with Osmond, scene with Tyson, just alternating.
Yeah.
I considered sending it for a moment, just before deleting the whole lot, and instead looking at pictures of him on my phone.
Not weird.
There were a couple that he'd taken of me doing stupid things. Some I'd taken of him doing equally stupid things, plus a couple that Dad had sent me. Stopping on one of the two of us cuddling in close together, I remember Dad sending it to me over the morning coffee and how I almost choked upon seeing it. At the time, I thought it was stupid and that he shouldn't have done that, but the more I looked at it, the more it brought me a sense of comfort that I could readily place. I turned off the light and got into bed, plugging my phone in. I just waited while I listened to the ongoings of the house. Part of me hoped Tyson would just appear and we could cuddle. Part of me worried that what might happen if he did. He liked his space after all. What? What did he do? What would happen? Especially so when heavy stuff was getting to him, and today had some fairly heavy stuff brought up. It felt foreign to me that he wouldn't trust me more for getting help, but he'd always been like that. With a sigh, I rolled over and tried to get some sleep. Maybe if I was lucky, I'd get to spend another night with him soon. Day 17! We've progressed 2 days in the session. I can taste the ending.
I want it to happen.
Throwing on some clothes and taking comfort in the warmth of my hoodie gave me... I wandered downstairs. I reached the bottom of the stairs. As I reached the bottom of the stairs, I expected to run into Oswin, heading to bed again, but nothing but silence greeted me in the foyer. You expected to encounter him precisely at that moment, changing shifts at the exact moment you happen to come downstairs? They're not fucking... It's not a movie. His warning came to mind as my eyes wandered over to the path towards the basement. That was the direction I was being pulled. And what harm was there in punching in a few words? Oh, here we go. Oh.
Do we even remember? Did we get a password last time? Did you write anything down? What if we got a password in the last session we forgot?
I don't know. That was
few
ages
words.
ago.
A few words, eh? You ain't having a laugh and gonna end up throwing the book at it, are ya?
What book?
You know, the dictionary.
Okay. Why was that unique dialogue?
Because we don't have the password, so it's trying to tell us that we don't have the password, probably.
But okay, something crucially weird that just happened. We didn't do the vault.
Oh, we didn't. You're right.
No.
I thought we just skipped over it.
No, because the fast forward stops at the entry.
Huh.
So I guess he showed up to make us not do the vault. I guess we just went to the vault to introduce the Thanatos scene. I don't know. Figure it all out yourself. Wait, what's
Not
the
so
word?
fast, Junior.
I'm going backwards.
Yep.
You have a date tonight with the vault. Okay. There's a password for today. What's stopping from going to ask Oswin about it? He'd be able to check, right?
Do that and I'll chew on the cables to take it offline. That's not how this works.
That's in the cards to begin with? What? Then that's your best mechanism for turning off the password machine, is to physically destroy it? But why would you even do that?
My way or no way.
Okay, so the password's werewolf, right? I think that's where we are.
Did we figure that out? Day 17? I think it might have been.
Yeah, I think it's werewolf again.
But boy, do I get a kick out of watching you do what you do.
This is when we got weirdly involved and was like, you gotta figure out the password on your own, but I'm gonna prod you to figure it out. Go investigate people.
It is kind of stupid how Thanatos
exists.
Thanatos is just annoying. Yeah, he's very annoying.
He's a very bad character. He's the specific character out of all the characters that shouldn't be in the game because he ruins the story.
Yeah.
Like, even if the story was otherwise doing well, Thanatos would just snap it over his knee by existing.
It's weird because it's like trying to make Beetlejuice himself sympathetic. It's just like, he's just really annoying and he's meant to be annoying and evil, but not literally evil, but just a pain in the ass.
The algorithm. Also, his eyes are at different heights.
They are.
I growled, balling up my fists before realizing that I didn't have much in the way of options. Even if he was bluffing, I didn't feel comfortable taking that risk. Okay, so this was just a slight variation of the scene.
Yeah.
That's also just logistical. This is also just acknowledging that Oswin's alive. Yay, we're skipping all of day 17.
I'll pass.
Wait,
yes, I will pass. I'll skip to day 18 too. Let me.
Sure, let's start with Orlando first. Oh, I clicked on menu on accident. Wait, where am I? Escape? There we go. Do. The Ty was acting funny. He was back to his old ways. Maybe done something. I think a little work. I think this is just probably try something like Wolf's Bane. They're just like slightly riffing on the conversation that happened before. It is surprisingly long, but I'm not gonna take that responsibility. I'm just gonna accept it. It's probably fine. How did the Tyson conversation have less variation than the Orlando conversation when we're in love with Tyson on this route?
Because writing jokes means you don't need to write anything that actually matters, so you can have a much longer just shoot the shit scene that is completely irrelevant and hit your word count easier.
Okay, so in this timeline, did you end up finding Oswin? So he's looking for Oswin.
Yeah. Yep, that's where I've been pretty much all day.
And that went well?
We played some chess, discussed science. Nothing all that interesting to anyone other than myself, really.
Did you do any magic?
I tried. He didn't seem all that interested, although he put up with it.
We're best friends now.
Only just left his company, really. Said he needed a break.
Oh, so what are your plans now?
Don't know, maybe I'll find Orlando and see if he needs help making dinner tonight. Maybe I'll go find Benson and see what he's doing. A lot of where I find myself now is just waiting, you know?
But waiting for what?
It sounds bad, but I guess the next bad thing to happen, I want to be ready, and I think I'm best as I can be shy of having a weapon.
Do you think it'd come to that? We have Benson to help us.
Exactly, but that's why I'm considering going to find him. Maybe he can lend me, like, a baton or something just in case I need it.
Not a gun or something?
Oh, no thanks. I don't think I'd be able to handle the recoil on most things. What about you, though?
Let's make a save, just in case. How many pages of these do we have now? What is that save? What did I do there? That must have been a misclick, because in RenP you instantly save by clicking once and then you can't delete them, I think. Or it's annoying to delete them. Especially if they change the interface.
Yeah, very possible.
Oops. Werewolf. I guess it worked. I didn't hear a chime, but I guess fast forward was still on. Here, maybe I'll just go back.
Yeah, I remember this one.
Just make sure it worked correctly.
Because he finds his dad's license or whatever.
So I'll rewind slightly. Fuck, I hit rewind again. There we go. Yep, that's the good sound. Okay. And then, yeah, I think it was the license scene. My mind erased, momentarily feeling the vault vision in favor of thinking about what the conversation could have been. With Oswin having talked to both my mom and dad, I had a lot of questions for him. Brrr. Well, that's... Wait. I frowned, looking to Thanatos. It could have still opened, maybe.
Start talking.
Oswin was explaining it a couple days ago. Oswin and Roswell, I guess, but he said that if you can't... He said that it can't show you your own death. What if it's the same for you? Thanatos went to say something before stopping short, seeming to think about it deeply.
You've got me there, but as far as I know, I haven't died, so my god status ain't budging.
Hey. Right, well, I'm gonna go talk to Oswin. He has answers he needs to give me.
You think he's gonna have an antidote to that werewolf thing?
He might, but what I really want to know is why he spoke to Mom and Dad. I want to know what he hasn't been telling me.
You know the way to the lab.
Yeah, I can manage. What are you planning on doing now? What do vaults ever even do in their spare time?
Probably return to my cage and recharge the battery.
If you're headed to the lab, then why don't we go together?
I'd rather take the back way. Not that you can follow, but we don't need to be talking anymore. Plenty of talking you've got to do as is. The scene is over, Dave. Go to sleep.
I don't want to talk to you, Dave. I'm normal. Right, well, I guess I'll see you later. Without another word, he scurried off out of the room and into the dark of the basement beyond. As for me, I took one last look at my dad's license before shoving it in my pocket and following Thanatos to the basement. Which is funny, because he specifically can't follow him. I approached the wall where I knew there was a passage, feeling around for anything like a button or latch. In a small divot, something I barely noticed was a concealed button. No sooner had I pressed it, the wall opened up, revealing the passage beyond. It was no different than traveling through this passage than last time. It was dark, and I regretted taking this trek without my flashlight. For a while, I had my hand on the wall to guide me forward, but after finding it dusty and gross, I relied instead on having my hands stuck out in front of me. In the dark, I heard a sound coming from behind me, for a brief second, before I grabbed the arm and was thrown into the room backwards. Falling onto my rear, I grunted at the shock before stumbling back up. To what do I owe the pleasure, Dave?
You're the one that pulled me in here. What are you talking about?
Or were you just making use of the passages for fun? No, I was trying to find you, actually. You didn't need to be so rough in handling me. Need I remind you that we have a homicidal rabbit wandering around? Hearing someone creep around outside my lab is not something I was expecting tonight. Right, sorry. To make matters worse, Thanatos has been walkabout all day, it seems. Heaven knows where he's escaped to. He's not back already? He was with you? He said he was coming back to the lab. I assumed he'd be back by now. Also, why are you... I'm not his fucking chaperone. Well, I'm glad that he's accounted for at least, and that we don't know where he is. What were you two up to? He ran into me at the vault this morning, and we just sort of, I don't know, tried to figure things out? Osmond grunted, dropping into a chair at his desk and clicking away at his computer for a while. What are you doing? Running diagnostics on the vault. Because? Just in case he's done anything to it. To himself, you mean? He froze, turning slowly to me. Pardon? Thanatos said that he was the vault, so what would he want to do to himself? Ugh. I wouldn't believe a word of that rat's mouth, Dave. Just an experiment gone awry is all. Oh. Okay. That's baffling.
Yeah.
What the fuck do you do with that? You've been running with that information for like dozens of hours of the story now. What the fuck do you mean? Don't disregard it. I wandered closer to Oswin, back to the computer, almost dismissing me. Tell me something, though. Why are you hiding stuff from us? To punctuate my point, I put my dad's license on the desk and slid it closer, once more causing him to freeze. Thanatos gave me this just before I came to find you. Why was my dad here? How did you know he didn't lift it from your own bags? Because right now I have no reason to doubt anything Thanatos has told me, and compared to him, you're meant to be the one we're relying on to survive. What's it mean? What's it mean if you can't be honest with us? Also, just the question of like, did Dave bring his dad's driver's license here?
Yeah.
That's the more direct answer that he
I think
skipped.
we questioned this before as well.
I don't know, yeah.
Because we've had this conversation, I think, in like some capacity before.
A license is a weird item to have in this context.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why David would leave it. And Thanatos specifically was disinterested in the visit when all the people came by and didn't interact. Yeah. It's not like he stole it. I don't remember if we ever got an explanation for how it was even around. So you're calling me a liar? Yeah, because of all the information you keep not giving us. And the lies. The proven lies. Depends. But you sure as anything haven't been entirely honest. So what parts of what I've told you do you doubt now? That you're in danger? About how the vault works? No, it's more, I don't know what your stake is in all this. Obviously, yeah, we all want to survive this, but where do you fit into this picture? So you're pretending to be your father now, shaking me down for information. Oh, he's so annoying. What do you mean by that? Dave, sit down. If you want to know why your dad was here, I'll tell you.
He already stated he wants to know why his dad was here, so just fucking tell him.
Are you calling me a liar, huh? Oh, you're interrogating me now, huh?
It's not even that. I'm not even talking about from a fucking character perspective. This is just a way to inflate the word count. I want you to tell me why my dad is here. Well, if you want me to tell you why your dad is here, then sit down and I will tell you why your dad is here. Then, when you're sitting, we will discuss why your father was here. Like that, it's just repeating things to inflate the word count.
Yeah, because
needs an editor.
Well, it's because at this point, he has to transition back to it because he got so fucking off topic by making him act weird about the idea of Dave asking basic questions, even though all of their interactions today have been them asking questions. Yeah, like that's what they do. But suddenly it's, oh, you're like your father now, shaking me down for information. I'm like, what? It's just like that. Oh, he reminds me of Roswell, always asking what we should do and not die. Like, what the fuck, Oswin? You're so annoying. Not just dad, but mom, too. Remind me to strangle that rat. Good luck with that. But apparently dad was here. I guess about a year ago? Why did he come here? I should start by saying it wasn't the first time he was here. When was the time before that? A couple of months, I'd say. It happened only a handful of times, but he was looking into the Noble family as part of an ongoing investigation. Then why question you instead of approaching him directly? Well, it's no secret that Memphis was here to try to buy the vault, so Questioning someone who had done business with him in the past was his idea of a smart move. But you hadn't sold the vault to him. Evidence of which you can see in that it's still here, no? So, what did Dad want with you then? We made a trade, although neither of us liked it, if I'm being frank. Go on. I showed him the vault, and much like any reasonable person, scoffed at the idea that a machine like that could work, so he was programmed in as a user. Did he see something in it? He did. But you're not going to like it if I tell you what it is. I want to know anyway. He sighed out, shaking his head. While not in the same vein as what Orlando saw, it was much the same. He saw his precious son die and refused to believe it. He saw me die? How? What happened? I think we're being revealed that, like, fucking... his dad saw how Dave would die, and so he went out and went after that person, and then he died in the process, and that he, like, essentially functionally traded lives, but, like, he was reacting to a password when he died, probably.
Yeah. I think another thing would be about this that's just weird. This is something that I've been wondering since the start, but, like, Oswin is like, Memphis can't use the thing. He's unable to use it, so we programmed his son in. If you can program someone in, why can't you just let them use it? I'm not saying they should let Memphis use it. My question is just, I still don't fully understand the conditions with which someone must achieve in order to be a viable vault candidate. You know what I mean?
I think Memphis is programmed to use it. I think the problem is that he doesn't have any trauma. I thought they
specifically had Orlando in.
I think that Orlando can use it because Memphis was programmed, and that we can use it because David was programmed in.
But Dave's dad doesn't have any specific trauma. In fact, he seems to only have been traumatized by the concern that the vault itself gave him.
Well, what happens is that David the dad went to the vault, got programmed in, and then went about his life. Then had a timeline where Dave died, and then that enables the other David to then, when he first finds the vault in the first place, generate a password for the fact that that his son went on to die.
I forgot that this is how this works. And
yes,
it's really dumb.
Yeah, it's confusing. So a version of David didn't get to use the vault yet. And had to
there's just literally no timeline where Memphis cares about anything. He's just objectively evil in all realities. He was born bad.
He will just never experience loss. He's actually required by the plot and the mechanics of the time travel to be a completely irredeemable villain with no connections to care about, because otherwise he would be able to use the vault. Because he will literally kill his own son.
I knew he would kill his own son.
And it will not show you his own death, so him dying also doesn't count. So basically, all the vault's rules are built entirely around Memphis being a bad character, and this working this way for Memphis, seemingly.
Yeah, huh.
Thanatos would have been the one to ask, but given you'd just end up asking him anyway, now that you know, it was a shootout. That was stupid. That was a stupid sentence. When you say Thanatos would be the one to ask, you're implying that he's the one that knows and you don't. But then you just admit that if you're going to ask Thanatos, well, I know, so I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
What the fuck was that sentence? At least that's what he surmised from what he saw. Okay, so you don't have good enough information, seemingly. So you're now implying I should still talk to Thanatos, even though your sentence was there to head me off. I was shot? Accidentally, I would hope. But who really knows? It was enough to spook your father and break his resolve into pursuing Memphis, at least at first. That sounds like Dad, or at least that I remember of him. I really struggle to remember my dad. He died when I was so young last year. 6 months ago, whenever the fuck it happened. Not wanting to back down, even if he has to take a break from something if it goes wrong. So, on another visit, he came back and asked me what we could do to change that from happening, if he still wanted to bring Memphis in. Well, that didn't work. Dad's dead now, as far as I know, and as far as I know, Memphis wasn't caught. Orlando would have said something if his dad was behind bars, right? You think he'd say his dad was in jail when he was already not overly keen on sharing his family's history was?
What?
No, I guess not.
We know that, though. We know about Orlando's dad. Orlando hates his dad. Yes, he would be happy that his dad is in jail and he would share it with his friends. What?
Yeah. They're trying to imply it in, like, Dave supposedly only learned about the Dragon Mafia, like, a few days ago, even though in his flashback he already knew about the Dragon Mafia. No, I guess not. So, I guess what I'm scared to ask is, why your dad came here the night he died, no? Oh, it was that night specifically? I nodded slowly, bracing myself in the chair I'd found myself in. The unfortunate truth of it all was that he was certain he was going to die. He made the decision to go confront Memphis on his own and, well, he never came home. And I'm sorry for that, Dave. I whined, running my hands through my fur on my face, trying to shake off the emotions threatening to run rampant through my head. I had to focus, if only because I was half done. So then, after that mom came? That's right. A while after your mother, Carol Holloway.
Yes, we know her name. It's been established twice now.
Saying my name to me. My mom's name. Came to my door late one night. It was raining and she was a mess, bawling her eyes out, even if the rain was making a good cover of it. It's fun. It's just weird because you could just say, "That's right. After a while, Carol came to my door." That's the normal sentence.
When Carol showed up, ... You literally that's all you need to say.
Yeah, saying your mother, comma, here's her name in case you forgot, is super weird. When you could just say her name because that's what we know as her instead of because you don't know her as mother. Why'd she arrive? Had you met before? A couple of times. Butted heads a few times over philosophical differences in our approach to medicine. She doesn't like killing children. Weird. Which meant you met Mom before you lost your license? And a couple of times after. Your mother was bright, if very abrasive, even beyond what you'd expect from those working on the front lines of the ICU. And as for the why? She somehow found out that I had been talking with David, had heard about my work, and much like Memphis, assumed it was some sort of miracle time machine that could bring her husband back.
People are just so dumb. I just don't understand how anyone could confuse this for a time machine. I don't understand.
When they've never seen it happen.
Yeah, and also, how is word about this getting out? It's not like he announced it in a scientific journal that he made this. That's been something that I've been curious about the whole time, is like, how did Memphis learn? How did he know?
It's because this fucker that's a recluse can't stop telling everyone about it somehow. But he's just not a science communicator, so he always says it wrong. He needs to hire Hank Green to communicate how his device works, because he doesn't know how to do it. I don't believe you. My mom didn't cry over Dad dying. She just didn't. She'd never cry over her spouse dying. It's impossible. They
were going through a divorce. Famously uncomplicated emotional situations.
What a fucking weird claim. I assure you that she did. Cried herself to sleep, begging for me to bring him back. Then the following morning thanked me for my time and left as stone-faced as I imagine you remember her.
She slept here and you knew that she cried herself to sleep? Were they fucking?
Oh no.
That's my question.
Oh no. Speaking of emotionally complicated.
I'm your stepfather, Dave.
Oh no. That sounds like it didn't help her at all. Well, the vault isn't a time machine. All I could do is disclose what I knew and hoped that it would help her put her mind at ease. After all, David's decision to do what he did was his own. I merely allowed him to have the options. I hung limp in my chair, trying to process it all. Dad was here and tried dying to take down a crime boss to stop me from dying. Mom came to try and get Dad back and instead found out he was dead because of me.
I don't understand why there needs to be so many inciting events. You know what I mean?
It's a lot because we were not... As far as I can tell, we're still not here for any reasons related to any of these things. So we just they still don't act as things that motivated or prompted the game to happen.
Yeah.
We just unrelatedly go here for Roswell's birthday. That's also his death party, and he didn't know any of this, supposedly. Or if he did know any of this, then he let Tyson come, even though that wasn't part of the plan. It's just, I don't know, it's very strange. No wonder Mom has been so distant. I'm emotionally mature enough to process the idea of what she's going through now. Your mother loves you still, boy. Don't be all doom and gloom just because of what the vault had to do with David's passing. Don't be all doom and gloom about how your mother won't acknowledge you.
You're an orphan, Dave. Don't be so sad about it.
What the fuck? But she never said anything. I just assumed. Yes, well, take it from someone who's been through something of the same. After the medical trial went south, Benson saw the whole process firsthand as to how I went from a sobbing mess to a jaded husk of a boar.
You can't be self-aware and be jaded like that at the same time.
Yeah, it's weird to describe yourself. Benson couldn't say that, but you saying that about yourself is weird. Sorry, I don't know what to make of any of this. It's pretty straightforward, Dave. I kept these things from you for a few reasons. Primarily because if I'd said that I'd spoken to your parents before, what would you say? I'd have probably clung to you for information about Dad if it was before, well, my friends cornered me and got me to explain what happened. Perhaps, or you'd think worse of me for relaying these things through the radio in your room. Some mysterious figure saying that they knew your parents. David's goal was to keep you out of danger, not thrust you into situations you'd be reckless in. I don't care about David's goals, though, so I've let you come here. Right? Are you satisfied? So my dad really just left the license behind? It seems strange that that's all he'd leave behind.
It's just a coincidence, Dave. Coincidence happens all the time in stories. It's truly just a coincidence.
My assumption is that Thanatos would have lifted it from his wallet at some point. Why? Beyond that, I don't really know. I only recovered it after he'd left. Okay. Before I forget. He leaned back from his computer and looked me over. Do you get the vaults to work before coming to see me? I nodded slowly, remembering that I still had that to deal with too. Yeah, no different from the other times with the whole thing. Feeling stronger somehow? Beyond that, any lasting symptoms? Fatigue, headaches, nausea? Nothing beyond what's normal anyway, I think. Very well, what did you see? Tyson. It's going to be Tyson next during the full moon. So we have a couple of days to pad out and waste with story time. Or event, it seems. Was he alive, or... Yeah, he was alive, but he was also attacking Orlando, so... Alright, well, the full moon doesn't happen for a couple of nights, so rather than jumping to shooting him preemptively, we have options. You wouldn't really shoot him, would you? Boy, your insight can only go so far. If he's responsible for multiple deaths, and we may just not know yet. Should it come to that, I won't hesitate to put him down to minimize what threat we have on those still standing. Have you never read like a werewolf story before? Where you know someone's gonna be a werewolf? And you chain him? And that kind of solves the problem? Like, oh no, we either figure out how to stop Tyson from becoming a werewolf, or we shoot him. That's the only options. Like, just lock him in a room. Ta-da! So what should we do before then? Depends on what the password was. Werewolf. Of course it was. Well, I don't exactly believe lycanthropy can be an actual cause, but I imagine at the moment it might have seemed that way. I say we monitor for any strange behavior and deal with it if we notice anything persisting. Alright, got it. Should I talk to him about it now, or... Ultimately, that's your call. There is always the risk that whatever actions you take could lead to this event happening. Famously, when you take actions in response to the Vault's information, that causes it. That's how the timelines work, even though in the original timeline you didn't have this information. And this is not a grandfather paradox. But sure, let's pretend that you taking actions in response to the Vault causes the problem. That's the version of time travel we're using. The Vault only shows you traumatic events so you're aware of them. It doesn't show you the actions to take to avoid them. I'm so annoyed about that.
How did he program this? That's my other question. Why did he choose it to be like that?
It's just the entire point is that you're caught in a time loop where the information causes the problem to happen.
Yeah.
Or it's like it's not. The whole point of the vault is to give you information for you to act on, and then you acting on the information stops the thing from happening. Then it's like, well, what if you cause it? I'm like, no, it happened already without the information.
Yeah.
Idiot. Was there anything else? No, that's all. For now, I suppose. I sighed.
I think just continually with the amount of problems that are being presented by the vault, it is hard for me to understand how this vault was built and designed. Like, because it ostensibly is made to function. That's what building something to solve a problem is for. That's what you do. So it's just like, it truly just does become like...
A lot of the narrative works better if they just discovered the vault.
Yeah.
And built a mansion around it. Because then that explains why no one can open it and no one knows how it works.
Yeah.
But no, he built it and then, like, tripped and hit his head. And now he can't use the vault or something and can't open it. It's just very odd. Him having built it in his own lifetime just makes it too understandable and approachable of a device for much power it has over the narrative. I sighed, pushing myself up from the chair and pocketing Dad's license, burying my hands into my pockets. It's probably close to dinner time, right? Are you hungry? Not with everything going on. I need to think, maybe. I don't know. Assuming the little bastard hasn't eaten it at all. Sometimes I make breakfast to be a good comfort, even if it is just sugar and processed wheat. Which bastard? Roswell?
Roswell.
I guess, yeah.
He's talking about Roswell eating his cereal. His one quirky, fun character trait that humanizes him for the audience.
I also watched Fringe. Remember Fringe? With
No.
The old, oh, you never seen Fringe?
I have seen the first season of Fringe.
So you know enough.
I know enough.
There's the happy-go-lucky, slightly harmless, slightly rude, mood-swingy old man that likes candy, and he has a dark past.
Yeah.
You know, in the supernatural world where all this crazy stuff happens, so all the stuff that happens is honestly mostly tied to shit he did in the past anyway. Yeah. And in fact, and it's right now, Andrew would be having an emotional breakdown because not only is this game Zero Escape, but it kind of has the guy from Fringe in it, and that's like, he loves that character so much. Yeah. He loves that man, and basically that's who Oswin is, like note for note all the way through. Like he just is the same character, distractingly so. Now that I've recognized that, I'm like, oh fuck, he is the candy man. No, you're offering me cereal to make me feel better? Is it working? I'll think about it at least. Thanks for at least hearing me out again. It's helped, maybe? Also, like most of that tier of sci-fi, you've watched exactly the correct amount of Fringe and you should never watch more of it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I watched it back when it was airing, and then I just like
it starts off solid, and like all of those Abramsy shows back then, it fucking just gives up at some point. It just loses its goddamn mind, and it's rough. Oswin stood slowly, approaching carefully before wrapping his arms around me in a hug. Probably the most awkward of hugs I've ever had.
This is not an appropriate time for a hug.
No.
Oswin.
Stop being gloomy about being an orphan, you dumb bitch. Have some
now come here,
Loops.
you little scamp.
Have some Fruit Loops. Here's a hug. Now let me explain to you about parenting. You're welcome. Go get some rest, Dave. He broke soon after, almost as if this whole thing was a foreign concept and it was just making him uncomfortable. Still, the gesture helped. Oh, he broke the hug, not broke down crying.
Yeah, that's how I also read it. I was like, wow, weird moment for him to be emotionally damaged, but okay.
Yeah. The gesture helped and I felt a little less flat as I turned to leave the room, because he stopped squeezing me, so I unflattened.